Alright, hey there fellow coder, welcome to this next installment in our series where we are building a real-world web app from scratch, leveraging a Spring Boot on the back end via Java, the React library on the front end, and we are tying it together with a MySQL relational database. In this episode of the, whatever you want to call this series, we're diving into another part of the CRUD functionality, creating, reading, updating, deleting. Specifically, we're doing the updating portion of this stuff. CRUD is the fundamental stuff that we do day in and day out as coders in the web. Okay, that's what our entire lives boil down to when it comes to coding, is creating, reading, updating, and deleting data day in and day out. This stuff is fundamental. You need to do this again and again and again and again, over and over and over, to get used to this stuff, because that's what makes you dangerous as a coder, in my opinion. Now, there's more to it than just creating, reading, and updating, deleting data, but when you know that stuff, you become pretty darn dangerous. So if that sounds good to you, if you want to learn about updating today, then stick around. All right, so a little bit of background before we dive into this one, just in case you hadn't already known and watched all the lessons prior. We've added the comments table to our database. That's where we're storing comments for, well, they're exactly what they sound like. You're storing, you have comments where people can leave comments back and forth. We added a simple UI to leave a comment. It's pretty rudimentary, but it works. We've added the ability to save a comment to a database. So when we can submit a comment, it saves it to a database. And now we have the ability to read those comments from the database. So we've done the C and the R. Now we need to do the U in CRUD. So this means that we need to add code in the endpoint, a new endpoint that allows us to update, otherwise known as edit, comments in our database. And then again, remember that this is the CRUD. CRUD follows a common convention when it comes to the paths, the endpoints. For our update, we're going to do a put request. Okay, previously, we've done post and get. Now we're doing a put request. And when you do a put request with the path of / your domain object / the ID of the domain object, that means that you're intending on modifying or editing that existing object, that existing comment. Okay, and then in the body, we'll pass in the updated comment, and hopefully we can figure out how to do all that stuff. So that's what we'll do in this one. Let's get to coding, ladies and gentlemen. So let's flip over to maybe our front end for now. So on our front end, we need to have a way to edit a comment. So I guess before we dive into this, I've got sort of Facebook open on the right-hand side of my screen. You guys can't see it, and they've got just to look at the look and feel of how they do it. So I'm just going to add a little bit of some design, if you will, to these comments. And really, if I'm being honest, these comments are going to be potentially used. They could potentially be used in a bunch of places, right? There's going to be the assignment view and the code reviewer assignment view, right? So this code here that we're building out, or rather, I guess this could be extracted into a comment object. I guess the individual one right here, the individual thing right here could be construed as a comment component. So let's create a comment component. Let's create a new folder called comment, and we will add a new file called index.js, rsc to create a React stateless component, enter, and we'll call this comment. Boom. So now we have the building blocks of a comment. Let me cut this stuff out, cut, and paste it in here, okay? And then we'll call this a comment object. Okay, we'll do a self-closing object because I don't think we need to have anything inside of it yet. And then what breaks over here? Well, what breaks is it needs some props, right? We need to give some props to this comment. So the props are what? Const, we will destructure the props into created date, created by, and text. So we'll do delete, delete, delete. Okay, so those will be that's the data that we have in here for the comment object. And now that implies that the props need to be passed in here. Created date, created by, and text. So how do we pass that in over here? Well, we just do the following. So created date equals comment.created date created by equals comment.created by, and what was the last one? I've already forgot. Text, I think. Created date, created by, and text. And then text equals comment.text. Boom. Right? Then we need to import it. We control space on that to import it, hopefully from the right place. I think it's this place is the right place. Let me save that. And as you can see on our front end, nothing changes, right? The view doesn't change, but now we've sort of taken our logic and extracted it into this new component, right? So cool. Now we can just do the work in one place. It's nice, right? So now we can have this comment appear in the code reviewer dashboard, right? Because the code reviewer dashboard will have it need it there too, right? So anyway, let's start making this pretty. So for the let's get rid of the created date for now, because that's noisy, and we'll parse that out later. So there you go. Now it looks a little bit better. Well, looks less noisy. It doesn't look better. It looks less noisy. And so what they have on the Facebook side of things is they have like a slightly, well, I'm looking in dark mode, and then I have light mode over here, so it doesn't really translate perfectly. Can I switch over to light mode? Let me just switch over to light mode. Let me pause real quick. All right, there we go. So God, light mode is so hard on the eyes. I should have designed this to be dark mode, but anyway, who knows? Maybe that'll be an enhancement. Maybe I can give that to one of my students in my bootcamp. coderscampus.com/bootcamp if you want to apply to be a student in my bootcamp, and maybe you can work on this app and make it dark mode compatible. Wouldn't that be nice? So, coderscampus.com/bootcamp. All right, shameless self-promotion. What we have here is some style that we need to put on here. We should really export this to be a class. Class name comment, we'll call it comment bubble, or something like that. We'll put that in the app CSS for now. Comment bubble will be made up of what? It will be made up of a background. So the background color will be, I don't know, some sort of a light gray. Okay, so we'll save that and save this. Boom. So now we have some light gray. It's even lighter than that, though. It's like a... It's like a very light gray. Gray. Light. Very light. Super light. What's a really light color? So all F's means white. And what? D's? Save that. There you go. So D, E's, E would be even lighter. Good enough. So EF. Is that even lighter? No. Okay, leave it there. So background is that. The border radius will be slightly rounded, so we'll do like 1 or something of radius for it. We'll have a bit of padding between, or a padding inside of the comment that will make it look bigger, beefier, if you will. Then we'll have margin, so we can put margin top and bottom. So top and bottom, but no left and right margin. Okay. Looking a little better already. The width is a bit ridiculous, but anyway. Next, we will have what? I think in terms of the look and feel, we're close. We're close. There's usually a little profile picture beside it, but let's not worry about that. So, fair enough. We've got some comments there. Now, let's do, in terms of look and feel, I think we're almost there. Let's do the name of the person on top, and then we won't do a a span here. We'll do a div here, and then we'll do another div with the text below it. So that way the text goes below. That's sort of how Facebook has it. And then the name itself is not bolded. It's sort of a muted. Anyway, good enough. So that's good enough for me. And then underneath, it sort of has an idea of how many minutes ago this was posted, minutes or hours or whatever. That's going to be a whole nother can of worms to figure out how many minutes ago this was posted. So I'm not going to put that in there just yet. We'll tackle that in another video. But what we should have the ability to do is edit, right? So we should have the ability to edit our own comments. Now, I have not left a comment anywhere on any of the... I could probably just leave a random comment on someone's, like, share. Someone posted... I'll just post a random message. I'll say nice somewhere. Okay, so basically how they make this work is when you hover over the message, the three dots appear that allow you to edit or delete. So we're just going to go simple, and we'll just have an edit. Maybe we'll have an edit be next to the name or something. That person I just randomly posted on their... I'm sure they're going to be like, wow, they only had one comment on their thing, so they're probably going to be like... And I don't use Facebook, so they're going to probably feel special and be like, wow, Trevor never posts anything, and he left a comment on my post. I must be special. Anyway, so I want to maybe put an edit link next to their... Maybe I'll make it a span. We'll make it a span with some style to be like a link. So we'll have be a cursor, a pointer, and we'll have it be sort of a bluish color, right? So we'll have it be color of like blue. What's wrong? Oops. This one goes over here. And then we'll have it say edit. Okay. And then we'll have some, we'll do class name margin left of like 4 or something, just to give some, ooh, right, spans, right. Spans can't have margin. Do spans have padding? Can I do padding? No. And I don't want to do div. Oh, this is... Okay, we're getting into flex. Flex again. Okay. Let's do flex. Let's... I've struggled with this before, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start your engines. So deflex. Okay. And we'll get rid of this padding. So deflex, we'll make this a div. Div, that might, okay, keeps on the same lines. And then, so this div wraps, so we'll make this a div as well. 2 divs, cool. And then we'll do justify, we'll do gap. Can we do gap like 5? Okay. That's not bad. I'm all right with that. So we'll have an edit, and then we can also have a style, same thing, cursor pointer, delete, color, sorry, red, and we'll have it say delete div. Cool. Right? I mean, it's not that beautiful, but it'll work, right? So edit and delete. So then these guys, these divs, should have an on click, right? And this is where the problem of embedding components or having components as children, we want to, it's going to get confusing with clicking and stuff, but and we're probably not going to have time to do this in this video, but let me start the process. So on click, we can say what's the convention here for bubbling? I need to bubble up the event. At least I think I have to bubble up the event. Let me think. Yeah, I need to bubble up the event. So single source of truth is the important part here. Single source of truth means there's one spot where the data exists. You don't want to try to duplicate the data in two different spots and modify them in two different spots. The data for the comments are passed in via props, which they come from up here. This is the data. The data exists in the assignment view for this one, right? So in order to delete or update a comment, specifically update a comment, we already have a method for that here, update comment. So what we need to do is we need to pass in the, well, we don't actually need to pass this in. If it was updating or deleting or whatever, we would need to pass in the delete or the update comment functionality, pass it into the child, right? So we'll have the handle delete comment be passed in, and there's a word for the, oh my god, I can't believe I can't think of it. There's handle, and then there's like notify or emit. Oh my gosh, emit. There we go. So we'll call this, or rather we will call this guy emit delete comment here. That way, I think that's how we do it. It'll be called emit delete comment there, and then we can call this one handle delete comment inside of this app. All right, sorry, I had to pause the video. My son was knocking on the door. He needed me to turn on a video game for him. That's my role in life now. I just turn on video games. Okay, so the name of the parameter, the key or whatever that we're passing in is called emit delete comment, but the function that we're going to actually pass in is going to be called handle delete comment, right? So there's a difference there between emit and handle. Handle is where the function actually exists, right? That's the method or the convention that I've learned. So we'll call this handle delete comment right here, right? And we can pass in, I don't know, a comment to be deleted, right? And we'll have to add some code in here to do delete, delete, send, delete, request to server, something like that. Send. Okay, so that's what that'll look like, right? And that way what we can do here is let's put a little log in here. I'm not going to do the code for deleting, but I'll put a little log and say, I've been told to delete this comment, right? That's sort of, at least we can trace it that way. So basically that will pass that in over here. Now we have an actual function, and it's called emit delete comment. So now when we go into the comment, we can use destructuring to grab the emit delete comment. And what we can do is on the click, oh, sorry, not for this one. On click of delete, on click for delete, we can say, hey, emit the delete comment, trigger the emit delete comment. Oh, and I need to save all. Oh no, what did I do? What did I do? Comment index. JSX attributes must be assigned to non-empty expression. Oh, on click it doesn't like this. So I'll just delete it. Okay, so now if I open up my console, oops, click here and click F12 to open up my console, clear this out. If I click on delete, boom, I've been told to delete this comment. Now this is a synthetic event, so that's not right. I did not properly pass in I fired the event, but I did not give it the data it needed, right? So, I guess we need to pass in the assignment ID as well, right? Because really what we want to do is we want to say, emit delete comment and then pass in the ID of the comment that we want to emit, or that we want to delete, right? But that implies that we need to pass in an ID here as well. So, which I think we can do in comment.id, right? Isn't that what it is? Let's try that again. Delete. I've been told to delete this comment. 1. Delete 8. Delete 7. 5, 5, 5, 5. 9. So now we can track. So the child component is what we're clicking on here, right? We're clicking on the child component. And the child component is just sending emitting the event, up the call stack. So the child is saying, hey parent, fire off this function for me. And then the function that we passed in was called handle delete comment. So then it goes and it fires off handle delete comment. And we're passing in the comment ID, right? Which is actually, we don't need a whole comment. We just need the comment ID to tell the backend which comment to delete. Call back to the presentation here, delete comment / comment ID. So we only need the comment ID on the back end to know what comment to delete, right? Which is why we only need this here, okay? But we were talking about updating. So how are we going to make this work? If we click on edit now, what should happen? Okay, I think we should populate this. So when we click on edit, we should populate this text area, which means we need to update the state of this guy right here. Okay, so which makes you realize when we submit the comment, we should also clear out, we should set comment to be nothing so that it clears out this text box. And then when we click on edit, we should have a handle function, same thing, function handle edit comment. Okay, so handle edit comment can be passed into our data at the bottom here for our comment. So along with handle delete comment, we can have emit edit comment equals handle edit comment, the function, right? So now we're passing this guy into, this is the name of the key, which we can grab in here, boop. So we can grab the emit edit comment. So now when the edit button, which is right here, is clicked on click, we can edit or emit edit comment with the comment ID. Okay, so we're just sending it back up to the parent, right? So how do we handle that? In here, we're passing in the comment ID. So what I want to do is I want to set a comment. I want to say set comment to be the object of this comment ID. So how do I know where this comment ID is? Well, hopefully we have it in the comments data, which I think we should have. So we just need to do this. We need to do a find. We've done this before in another video, but here's how you find. So you go to comments.find index, I think. Is it find index? Yes. So how do we use this again? It was just there. Right there. Find index. Find calls predicate. So pass in a predicate. A predicate is just a Boolean, right? So which takes what? Takes the individual object, I think. So you can say, hey, does this comment that we're iterating through inside of comments, this comment's ID, is that equal to comment ID that we're passing in? If it is, then we want to store that as the comment index. We'll just say I, the index of that comment, right? So then what we can do here is we can say set comment to be comments at I think. Let's click edit. No, didn't work. Did I get an error? No. Let me just do this console log and say, I've been told to edit this comment, and I'll say comments. Oh, I think I know why. So let me click edit again. I think it's going to work. We're going to see the right console log. Yeah. But when I say set comment, we haven't modified anything here. Well, is that true? I mean, set comment should be different. And I think the text area on change. So the text area should probably also have a value of comment. Is that right? Obviously not. Something's wrong. Unexpected token. Okay, yeah. Object. Comment.text. Right, this is a test message, right? Okay. Click edit here. This is another test message. Comment 4. Now, if I say post, what's going to happen there is what? The comment should hopefully have an ID, right? So when I say submit comment, this will need to change. So we need to say, hey, if what? We want to pass in the comment. We want to say if comment.id. So if it has an ID, we need to do one thing. Otherwise, we need to do another thing. Right? Because if we're putting or we're posting, if we're editing or creating, there's two different things we need to do. If we're editing, we need to do an API call to call as a put, right? User JWT is our and comment is our body. We should say some comment data, just so we're clear. If comment data ID has stuff, then pass in comment data. This is, oh no, but then we have another name collision here. Call this D. Oops. And we'll call this D. Okay, is that right? I think so. So then D does this. Okay. So this is getting the request back. So we'll just sort of copy paste this same thing. So we're going to copy the comments, push. Oh no, we don't want to push. We're not creating a new comment, so we need to edit an existing one. So we'll create a comments copy, and then we'll say, hey, comments copy dot find index. Same thing we did last time. Comment dot id equals d dot id. Right? We'll call this I. And then we'll say comments copy at I equals the data. And then we'll update the view so that this comment down here will update, and then we'll set this comment box to be empty. So yeah, that should work, I think, except for the fact that we need to pass in comment data when we submit the comment. So when we submit a comment on click, we need to actually give it the comment that we're okay. But I guess we're already tracking that, right? We're already tracking. I think we're already tracking that. As long as when we click edit, we properly populate all of the stuff. Oh, this is going to be messy. This is going to be messy because when we edit the comment, we're finding. This is going to be a little bit messy. So what we want to do here is we want to make sure that we match this format. So let's start with ID is null. And that's true. And then when we find the comment here that we're clicking on edit for, we want to have, we'll create a comment copy equals all of this stuff. Right? The text is going to be the text from comment at I. So the ID is comment at I.id. The text is comment at I.text. The assignment is comment at I.assignment.id. I think. Do we pass the entire assignment back? I think so. And the user, that's, I think, still the same. Does that... Ooh. Yes, because we should not be allowed to edit a comment that we have not posted. So that should be, we'll have to put that data in there. And then comment copy is what we put in here. So that way we're going to match the structure, okay? So if all goes well, if I click on edit, it will break. Let's try that again. Edit, So I've been asked to, I've been blank to edit this. Okay, here's the comment. Type error, cannot read properties undefined reading ID. Okay, so the ID somewhere is not populated. So what do we have in here? We have created by, created date, ID, and text. So we don't have the assignment. So I guess the assignment, we have to just assume that we have it from this guy here. So boom. Right? Edit. There's a test message. Okay. Edit comment 3 maybe. There's comment 3. So now if I say post, it's going to try to put. Now it cannot read properties ID. Okay, so what just happened there? So when I said post comment, it submitted, and I assume it went in here and passed in. Oh, but comment data is empty, right? So when we say handle edit comment, it's not passing. It's, I think, passing an ID, right? Yeah, handle edit comment is passing an ID. And then I'm saying find that index based on that ID. And then, yeah, set the comment. So that's fine. Then submit comment. I think we don't pass in comment data. We just look at comment.id. So if we have an ID, then we pass in that data, I think. Because it's just on the model, right? So let's say comment 4 and say edit. Let me minimize this a little bit. So comment 4, if we say post, good. So that's what I was looking to see, right? So I was looking for a 405 error because we have not identified, we have not planned out, mapped out the put request on the backend. So that we can do inside of the comment controller. So just like we had a post mapping, we can do something similar. We can have, instead of a post mapping, we can have a put mapping. And then we also need a comment ID here. Again, referring back to the presentation, with update, it's a put request. So put mapping to /comments, which happens here, API /comments, and then /comment ID, which is here, comment ID, right? So this is not create comment, but update comment. The request body will be the comment DTO. That's still correct. And yeah, that might just work. That might just work. Because we just have new data now from the comment DTO. And if we go into save. Oh, but we don't have an ID. We don't have a comment ID. We're going to need a comment ID, which is going to be very important for saving. We're going to say comment.setID to be comment.dto.getID, which if it's null, that's okay. We want it to be null if it's a new comment, but if it's an existing comment, we need to set that ID. Do we have to? We might get a hibernate error on that one. And then the created date, if we edit a comment, that's a whole different can of worms for created date. It probably shouldn't modify the created date. So we'll have to say if comment dto.get, or sorry. Oh wait, how do we do that? Because comment DTO doesn't have a created date. If comment.getID is equal to null, then we can set the created date. That's how we do it. So if we don't have an ID, it's being created, therefore we should set a created date. I guess we can do the same. We can wrap this like this, and we can do this down here for that as well. Or no, sorry. No, I lied. That's backwards. So if we don't have an ID, that means it's new, therefore we set the created date. Cool. Okay, so let's try that. Let's reboot. I know this video is going long. I try to keep these for like 15 minutes, but anyway. People complain when they go over 15 minutes. People's attention spans these days are so short. I try my best. But I'm delivering just oodles and oodles of value. So let's edit this test message. This is an edited test message. So if I say post comment, method not allowed, put. Didn't I reboot? I did. Oh, you know what? I'm missing the for the put / commentId, right? Comment.id. Then I need to turn this into a backtick notation. It's a different endpoint. It's a different endpoint when you are putting versus when you are posting. My apologies. So let's try this again. This is an edited test message. It just changed. Oh my god. Comment 3. Let's change this to comment 2. Oh, more comments. More comments. Oh, delete. Does nothing. So cool. New comment 2. So the other little thing there is when I click on edit, it should probably scroll back up. But anyway, I'm being very picky here. Oh my gosh, we did it. The update functionality is working. So let me just make sure it's working. I could be fake working. Let me refresh the page to make sure this still says this is an edited test message. Please say this is an edited test message. Okay, good. Phew. So that works. And we should also add a new comment. So let's do new comment 3 and say post. New comment 3 goes. But how come this doesn't get updated? I thought I said when you post a new comment, because this says post, we push there and then set comment to be blank. So when comment is blank, shouldn't that update this to be blank? How come that didn't work? Right? Because comment is what the value of the text box or text area is. Comment.text. So, set comment is actually, it needs to be an entire object. So we need to set it back to this. So can we create like a const empty comment equals blah? There. And then we'll say the state here is empty comment. So that way we have like a way to refer to an empty comment. And then instead of saying double quotes here, we pass it an empty comment. Right? So new comment 3, so we'll say new comment 4 post. There we go. There we go. And then this is an edited test message for Reels. Post. Nice. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is a mostly working way to functionality to edit existing messages. Now there's obviously a little bit more tweaks that we need to make. We need to make it so that if we don't own the comment, we should not be allowed to modify the comment, right? So for the edit button here, we should have some logic around editing and deleting such that we can only edit if we are the ones who were the originator of it, right? So I just can't help myself. I just want to do it now. So if let me just see if I can do it now really quickly. I'm so sorry. Let's put some logic here that says, hey, the user that's logged in, the JWT, is that equal to who's the created by that we get back? The created by is all this stuff. It has a username, right? So we need to decode. We need to decode JWT. Decode somewhere. Yeah, JWT decode. So we can bring that guy in, right? Here's the function is JWT decode. You decode user.jwt, right? This is the decoded JWT, right? And then we can say, hey, if the decoded JWT's sub, which is the username, is equal to the current logged in user's username, then return something, otherwise return something else. So the something in this case is the edit and delete divs. So we're going to return the edit and delete divs, otherwise return nothing. So let me change the ID of the first message just to test this out. So select start from comments. For the first message, we're going to change the user ID to be 2. So therefore, now I changed the ownership of this message. And if I refresh, nice. So I changed the name, but now it broke all the other logic or all the other views that we had there. So I just need to look at, we need to do a log on decoded JWT is equal to decoded, JWT. And then we also need to do a console log on the user, just to look at these two things. So the decoded JWT sub is Trevor, and then this one, oh, right. So we need to decode that one as well. That's the problem. So decoded JWT, and then we need to do const, which one is which? Am I just doing the same thing twice? Hold on. Let me think. What am I doing? So I'm grabbing the user. Oh, I want created by. That's what I want. I don't want user. Did I do user and then compare? Yeah. So we want the decoded JWTs, which came from where? User.jwt. We want that, yes. We also want the created by. So we want the decoded JWT, but then we also want to know who is the created by. Right? And we need to move these guys down below here to get that data. So we're comparing the decoded JWT, which is here, which is .sub, with the created by's username. Yes. So we are comparing the decoded sub to the created by's username. There we go. Ta-da! So now I cannot edit this message because I do not own this message. I only own all the other messages. All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you've enjoyed this, again, I've called out my bootcamp a couple of times before. I will try to be brief this time. If you are in the world of wanting to learn how to code yourself, you can go to coderscampus.com/bootcamp. And if you are living in a country where the US dollar is powerful enough, then you might be able to join one of our next bootcamp cohorts. Right now we are starting them monthly. So if you have some access to money that you can invest in yourself and your education, it's not cheap, but I promise you it's worth it, okay? What I do is I help to teach you everything that you need to know to get a job as a coder, right? In about 6 months. Unless you're absolutely brand new, if you have no clue what you're doing, then it might take like 9 months. But if you're following along with these videos and you sort of get the gist, you probably get a job in 6 months if you don't yet have a job. So if you've been trying to learn on your own for like more than a year, it's time to apply to this bootcamp if your goal is to get a job, okay? Don't spend a whole nother year spinning your wheels when you can have a job in the next 6 months, okay? So it's cheaper to join a bootcamp, and we try to make our pricing such that all you pay is the minimum amount up front. So you pay the least amount that you possibly can pay so that we just cover our bills. There's no profit involved. I don't get any pay out of that. It's just to pay the staff, and that's it. Just the staff to support the bootcamp. That's the deposit right now, and that's how we're doing it. All the rest of the tuition amount is not due until you get a job making more than whatever the deal is with something called the income share agreement. You can learn more about what the income share agreement is in the tuition area. We have an income share agreement here. Currently, the bar is set at if you make 60K or more, then you start paying back. But if you make less than 60K a year, you don't start paying back the rest of the balance of the tuition, okay? Because that's my job. My job is to get you the job, making more than 60K. So that's why this offer is really only available in North America and some places in Europe. And the 60K may vary depending on the region. I basically base it on the average entry-level salary. So my goal is I can get you an average entry-level salary for sure. That's what I'm betting my farm on in terms of the rest of the tuition. So you pay a little bit up front, don't pay the rest until you get that job that pays, the average developer salary for your country, okay? Cool. So the only other stipulation is you need at least 20 hours a week in your schedule. I highly recommend 20 hours a week. If you only have 10 hours a week or something, then you might need to allot this to be 12 months, which defeats the purpose. But anyway, you can still do it. It's just going to take you a lot longer. So if you only have 10 hours a week, I don't think this is a good fit. But if you have 15 to 20, this could be a good fit, and I can help you to change your life. Okay, so if that sounds good to you, check it out, coderscampus.com/bootcamp, and you can apply now for free. Sound good? And if that is not your cup of tea, if you do not want to do that at all, you're not interested in it, but you do want to see more of this content, go ahead and click above my face on the icon to subscribe, the little circle above my face. Click there to subscribe to the channel, and do give us a like because it helps the YouTube algorithm gods. So thank you so much for watching. As always, take care of yourself, happy learning, and bye for now.